I'm going to break this film study up into three parts. The first part will be a look at Deshaun Watson's play. So we're going to look at Deshaun Watson's play in the last 2 weeks. Of course, we know they won his first game back, but they scored two defensive touchdowns in that game. And then last week against the Bengals, they lost 23-10. But look, the Bengals had DJ Reader back, and if you watch my content this week, you know DJ Reader he takes an already very, very good defense for the Bengals and makes them great. Yes, I said great. So Deshaun Watson had trouble and was inconsistent against them. I think he was also inconsistent the week before against the Texans. Now, both of those games have been on the road. He hasn't played a football game in like 700 some days, and the first two games are on the road. I am prefacing the film here to tell you I would caution against making large scale conclusions based on only two games, both of which have been on the road, one of which was against the Texans, the former franchise that Deshaun Watson played for, number one, and number two, the second of which was against the Cincinnati Bengals, who, if you listen to my content, you know I think they're one of the best two or three defenses in the NFL, even if some of their quote metrics don't show that. So, having said that, as a Ravens fan, execute some caution because I think Deshaun Watson he's just got too much talent and there's too many pieces there for them not to figure some of this out. I know that they have been inconsistent as a team all year, and he has definitely displayed that in his first two games. So, having said that, let's look at some Deshaun Watson film, and we're basically going to focus on third downs for the most part against the Bengals and just some 1st and 10 passing situations. And I think I'm going to try to show you the inconsistency that he's put out there on film and at least three passes that I think a sharp, conditioned Deshaun Watson is generally going to complete. All right, so let's get started with the film. This is 11 personnel shotgun, and I feel like this is one of the things Deshaun Watson is naturally good at, or he's been good at for years, dating back to even Clemson. And he's got some weapons, Amari Cooper being one of the main ones. They like this concept a lot. A deep out by the X receiver, in this case Cooper, and then some kind of drag from the other side. In this case, I think it's Donovan Peoples-Jones. You get motion running out to the flats. Cooper brings the route against cover 3 to the sideline. Clean, crisp by Deshaun Watson. In rhythm, no pressure. And I think that'll be key for the Ravens. A little bit of pressure, I guess I should say, D-tackle diving at his feet. That'll be key for the Ravens, is trying to get some pressure, disrupt Deshaun Watson as best they can. All right, the other, quote, offense that they're running, and this is a little simplistic or a little basic, me saying they're running two offenses, but I think it's revealing when a team like the Cincinnati Bengals puts their nickel defender to the boundary. It tells you how often the Browns are actually running to the boundary. In this case, it's a Z-hide concept. So you're getting the Z who's off the line, or you can call him the H, whatever you want, running underneath behind the formation, and the run action is to the field. Normally, when you have twins to the field, right, because here's the ball, the nickel defender is normally going to be set over that side, so you get 3 over 2. That's not what the Bengals are doing here. It's interesting to me. The Ravens are going to have some decisions to make. The Browns do often attack the boundary, but this is backwards. So what I mean by that is normally the run action is to the boundary, and then the possible boot is off of it with the Z or the H or whatever, running out into the flat, or, an over concept, something like that, with a clear out to the field. So my point is this is backwards, and I think it's revealing in terms of what the Browns can do to you and how smart the Bengals are. Now, the play worked. The play went back to the nickel defender who had a chance to get a sack. I think the Browns have two offenses here. As a Ravens fan, a Ravens content creator, I'm a little worried that now in the third week with Deshaun Watson as a starting quarterback, that they'll be able to execute both of them. But the film isn't showing that, to be honest with you. All right, this is a third down, and you're going to see how multiple this Bengals defense is. You're going to see how much difficulty they gave the Browns. 3-man rush. I love this coverage that the Bengals play. They did this to the Chiefs in the AFC title game last year. Rush 3. Dropped out people in man, and then had zone droppers underneath or at the third level just taking away everything, forcing the quarterback to try to throw the ball into a compressed window or scramble, and then Hubbard, Hendrickson, and some of the other guys they have who can get after the quarterback, can get to the quarterback. Deshaun Watson's an amazing athlete, though. It's surprising to me that they can get away with this. Well, they didn't use it all the time. They were multiple, being the Bengals. The Ravens are going to try to be multiple. The problem with that for the Ravens has been in fourth quarter situations, they've been breaking down, meaning they've been giving up big plays by trying to execute 2 and 3 and 4 different coverages or different schemes on defense in the span of 4 or 5 plays. The Bengals seem to have a tighter grip on being able to execute multiple formations. I just showed you a 3-man rush, a little bit of a zone man under combination. This is sticks blitz 0. And you can see they're going to get the drag from the top side open. The drag from one side of the formation is a constant weapon in this Browns offense. And I know there's pressure. I understand. Deshaun Watson saw them line up this way. If you're a Browns fan and you're listening, I'm not saying Deshaun Watson can't play. I'm just surprised that he doesn't get this ball off. I have to think that at some point that ball is going to come out of there in these situations. Watch it a couple of times, and you tell me. I mean, clearly he saw the Bengals line up in that coverage. Normally the teams in the NFL that are lining up like this are having, 1 or 2 guys drop out. So it's possible, we'll give Deshaun Watson the benefit of the doubt, it's possible that he thought, okay, I'm not going to be concerned about this route because I think it's a pretty good chance that someone or 2 guys are going to drop out of here and occupy this area, pretty much taking that away. But that doesn't happen. I don't know what else he's looking at and why the ball isn't out a whole heck of a lot sooner. Whether you're a Browns fan, Ravens fan, I think you'll understand the point that I'm trying to make without being disrespectful towards Deshaun Watson. That was a 3rd down, forces a punt. All right, so showed you 2 third downs, right? One of them, a 3-man rush with man under, zone principles, a low hole dropper and middle of the field free safety. Then the next one, a sticks blitz 0 where no one dropped out. And you had a wide open guy on the drag, which I think was Amari Cooper. Might have been Donovan Peoples-Jones. All right, 3rd one. 3rd down is just going to be your basic man free with a drop safety. Bell is going to drop to the low hole, and Bates is going to sky to the middle of the field free safety. Now we get a scramble by Deshaun Watson on a 3rd down. I think he's close, or maybe he gets it. Shows you the athleticism. The Ravens are going to have to do this, in my opinion, try to give him as many looks as possible without stretching themselves too thin. Do we have the people that can cover the Browns receivers? Yes, but we have given up big plays in the pass game. Multiple weeks, not just 1 or 2. Do we have the pass rush guys to keep Deshaun Watson in the pocket? It looks pretty athletic there. I mean, we know how athletic he was at Clemson, how athletic he was with Houston. All right, let's go a couple of 1st and 10 plays. Look at Deshaun Watson's play. You can see a little bit of the inconsistency. Like I talked about, I feel like you have 2 situations where the ball could come out. They really love this concept to the boundary. It's to the 1 receiver side. So this is the X, Amari Cooper, who's often set to the boundary. And then they're getting the running back to the boundary as well. So they're creating a 2 receiver side where by alignment, you only had a 1 receiver side. Cover 3 by the Bengals. Ball's out early. Looks great to me. I think that Deshaun Watson can play in either one of these offenses and execute, meaning the under center stuff like we have right here, or in the shotgun. From what I've seen in 2 weeks, there seems to be inconsistency in trying to do so many things. And when I say so many things, don't think I'm only talking about under center, stretch and play action stuff and shotgun stuff. There is an option element to this too that I'll show you guys a little later. Deshaun Watson is executing a lot of the reads that Lamar Jackson executes in the pistol option game, in the regular shotgun option game. Stuff that he did a little bit of in Houston, don't get me wrong. All right, this time the nickel is set down here to the field, Hilton. And now the Browns have created a 3 receiver side to the boundary. And this is consistent across their attack in the last 2 or 3 years. They did this to the Ravens previously. They're trying to get the running back open by essentially clearing out, isolating the running back on this inside linebacker as the tight end passes through. DJ Reader's able to tip the ball. Ravens are going to need a couple of those. And they've been getting them. Broderick Washington, Calais Campbell, Brent Urban, other guys have been involved with tipping passes. 4-man rush by the Bengals, which is kind of standard for Mike McDonald and the Ravens. And then, max zone coverage here. We used to call it fifths. Sometimes we would call it sixths. Just basically taking the width of the field. You can't see the entire width of the field because, the screen's cut off down here for you guys. And trying to cut it into fifths underneath with two guys fitting outside the number 2 defender from the sideline. Number 2 defender meaning the number 2 second level player. So when I say that, I'm talking about this guy, and then the safety fitting outside of him. This guy, let me get rid of these lines, and then the safety fitting outside of him. So we would call it fifths with 2 guys over the top. But in any case, tip pass by DJ Reader. Pay attention to that during the game. I believe you're going to get the running. Let me go back there real quick. I believe you're going to get the running back set into the boundary often in shotgun, whether it's Hunt, whether it's Chubb, whatever. And I feel like with Chubb, they're more so likely to set him to the field and then run to the boundary. With Hunt, they're more so likely to set him to the boundary and then release him out. But I have no data. I cannot support that statement with, 10, 12, 14 games worth of data. All right, 3rd and 3, shotgun, 11 personnel. You can see what the Bengals are setting up. Looks like you've got heavy pressure coming. I would suspect that at least one guy's going to drop out of there. It's a sprint out. Great job by Hilton right here. They walk Bates up. Bates is going to slide out into the flats here. And then Hilton is going to get off and help play this route that's developing. I feel like Deshaun Watson is getting rid of the ball a little late sometimes. I'm not saying it's his throwing motion. I'm saying I feel like he's recognizing a little late when he should get rid of the ball. Well, why is that? I think it's because the Bengals are so multiple, and he's trying to figure out post-snap what the coverage is because they do such a good job of executing multiple coverages. That's what the Ravens are going to try to do, if you ask me. If we had Wink Martindale and our great cover corners we had while he was here, we would play a lot of man-free, and we would just try to beat him in those coverages. In my opinion, I love what we're doing, trying to be multiple. We just have to be able to execute them without giving up big plays. The ball should be out, and it's a great job by Hilton. All right, it's a great job by Hilton, don't get me wrong. Eli Apple is also trying to play in the middle of it, so he could theoretically, get involved in this. But he's staying it with the flat defender and the ball was thrown. In any case, I feel like the recognition of Deshaun Watson has been inconsistent based upon the way he has played in the NFL in the past. I don't know that that's going to be that way forever for him. I think there'll be an evening out of that process. Just to go back to one thing I said on the previous play, balls on the right hash, Kareem Hunt set into the boundary. Trips to the field. You get a mesh concept. Again, it's 3rd down. Amari Cooper looks like he's trying to figure something out. They're not able to get anything accomplished because of the pressure. I'm not sure that, how the Ravens are going to get pressure. Are they going to bring heat like this, 5-man pressure with man-free? So when you bring 5 and play man-free, in this case they're bringing 6, because the guy who's responsible for Kareem Hunt is Bell. He identifies that Hunt is blocking, so he gets involved in the blitz as well. That's why that's why I'm saying 5, all right? So he is the 6th blitzer, but when you bring 5 or 6 in man-free, you vacate this area middle of the field. But the Bengals do a pretty good job of covering these guys up initially. For whatever reason, Njoku and Cooper did not look in sync with running this mesh concept. I'm not sure Deshaun Watson trusts his O-line in some of these pass pro situations where there's heavy pressure. He seems really jittery. That's probably not the right word to use, but he seems like he's not willing to stand in there long enough to get rid of the ball. I'm not saying that if he stands in there, Amari Cooper's going to be, wide open in this area up here. But I feel like if he stands in here for another second, maybe 1.2 seconds, he can throw the ball to Cooper somewhere around that hash. Although it certainly looks like there's a D tackle that's getting ready to flash and hit him. So we don't get the end zone angle there. And Deshaun Watson made his decision, so you got to live with it on some level. Another 3rd down, 3rd and 14. Trips left. You got Chubb in the game, set to the boundary. And you get a deep comeback versus cover 3. Again, I think it is Donovan Peoples-Jones. Good timing. So this is the second such throw, I guess third actually, that we've seen where it's been pretty good timing from Watson. You'll get one more throw here later that I'm really not a big fan of. I feel like the ball's getting out late, but this is not one of them. There is a significant load up to get this ball out. I don't have the end zone angle on all of these, to be honest with you. There is a significant load up to get this ball out of there once he's made his determination. I think he's made his determination here. I think he whatever he's looking at, whatever he's seeing, I think he understands the coverage at this point. Right now, he understands that it is cover 3. There's your 4 underneath, where this is your flat defender who's a little bit more shallow than these other guys on a 3rd and 14. And then here's your 3 deep umbrella. I'm just saying, for the time that he recognizes it, which I think is about here, I think he recognizes the coverage, knows where he's going to go with the ball. It's a significant load up to get this ball over there. And it ends up being short, like I said. 2nd and 14, not 3rd and 14. My apologies. Under center, 1st and 10, Trey left. And you get a dig. This is a really nice throw, if I recall. From the top side of the screen. Stuck that in there to Peoples-Jones, who took a shot. So we're talking about this here. You're a Ravens fan, what do you see right now? I mean, there are some good throws, some intermediate throws like this one. The sideline throws are solid. When he has time, looks like he's able to pick out where he wants to go, step into the throw, deliver the football pretty accurately there, as well as the last one. 4th and 6. I think this is to Njoku. Little stop versus sticks blitz 0. So they got 6 guys lined up here, 5 guys lined up at the sticks. Slot fade, and Njoku just sits up, catches in front of Von Bell for the easy first down. Bengals play this. You're going to get 2 guys dropping out of here, I think. They're not able to get in the passing lane. Watson gets rid of the ball quick. When he's getting rid of the ball quick, I feel like you're dealing with a guy who's playing at a high level. When he's hesitant a little bit and taking a long time to get rid of the ball, I feel like it's a little different story. All right, fake F counter. So they're going to fake the counter. I like this action. I feel like this toys with or gives problems to nickel defenders often. So watch Njoku move like he's going down on the F counter, and then slip back out into the flats uncovered. Simultaneous to that, this is one of the things the Browns do a little different. Their running backs, watch the first of all, the stance is a little different for Chubb, but watch the steps, making it look like counter back to the boundary where they do like to run the football. And then Njoku stepping down and then twirling back. Hilton, I think, decides to go for the sack. Doesn't get there. Touchdown. Great play by Njoku. Shows you his level of athleticism. I know he's had trouble being healthy across multiple seasons, but, man, when he's on the field, he produces, and Ravens fans, we know that. He's given us trouble before, too. All right, Joker set. This is a throw that this is one of the ones that I say I don't know why it takes this long to get there. I can't believe this ball's not coming out earlier, and it ends up being intercepted. Now, that looks like a great play by Jesse Bates, and it is. It is a great play. Check this out. Just so you know, there's Bates. All right, I showed you the routes. There they are. I call it over. Some people call it Yankee, whatever. Look what we got here. Look at the distance between Bates and that route. Yes, you have a flat defender out here who's not going to, jump this running back, I think, out into the flats. He's going to maintain some depth because he knows if there's a flat route, a low route, there's probably a high route, like a high-low. So he wants to maintain some depth. Still, there's no reason this ball isn't coming out like very soon or already out. I am playing this in slow motion, but it feels like it's slow motion watching Deshaun Watson deliver the football. And look, he could very well come out next week and these things not happen because, like I said, he hasn't played a lot of football in the last 2 years. Watch it live a couple of times, and you tell me how accurate what I'm saying to you is. I feel like Deshaun Watson has and will get rid of the ball with much better timing there and get this ball out of here, more in this area so that Jesse Bates cannot recover. Look at where Peoples-Jones is. He's on this hash and Bates is on the other hash. Deshaun Watson is way better than this. I don't think it's tipped. If you're a Ravens fan and you want to take some confidence in that, then go right ahead. If you're a Browns fan and you think I'm being too harsh, let me know. I just feel like that's a route, that's a ball that should be completed 9 times out of 10 in the NFL for a pretty big gain, especially by a guy with the talent of a Deshaun Watson. Let me know what you think of Deshaun Watson's play so far on third downs, specifically. His passing game performance, I think, has been inconsistent. I think he's got 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, maybe 3 through 2 weeks. I expect that to even out at some point. I certainly hope it's not Saturday against the Ravens. I hope that he continues to be a little bit more inconsistent than we've been used to seeing when he's playing at to his potential. I hope that the stats don't flip in the other direction for him and him be able to post up a big game. He's certainly got the talent to do it with Cooper, who I know is dealing with like a core injury, Peoples-Jones, Njoku, Hunt, Chubb. There's a lot of talent there, which is what makes it surprising to me on at least 2 of these throws, maybe 3, when I feel like the ball should be out sooner to give those athletes, those guys who are talented, a chance to make a play.